Becky, can you hear me?
I can hear you through the computer.
You can. Okay, hold on. I have to.
Hi, April.
I'm going to try something and I apologize for the feedback.
Okay, no problem. April, you're muted.
I just need to turn my camera on and I forgot how to do it.
It's a
On my phone, because that's my camera.
the camera's on your phone.
Yep.
Oh, because that laptop doesn't have
The camera.
The camera.
There. How's that?
That's beautiful.
Perfect.
Okay. So I'm going to turn off of my speakers because we're about to get feedback. So hold on one moment. Can you still hear me okay?
Yes.
Perfect.
One?
Awesome.
Yep, it's working. You got it down. If you all don't
I'm going to laugh at that because, technology and I don't always get along. So.
No, the first try took a little work.
It did. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there's Rita too.
In Minnesota?
Oh,
you're muted.
Hear you.
Is that it?
Yes, it
Okay.
worked.
Good.
You with the grandbaby?
Yes, I am. And it's been just brutally cold out here.
It's coming this way.
Sorry.
I know. Well, it's
Sorry.
17 degrees this morning, so I don't think you're getting that. And snow.
Wow. It was snow in Abilene, Texas this morning.
Whoa.
God.
Yep. Michael had a snow day.
Oh, you're kidding.
No.
and I was able to go paddling on the Cape. It was so warm.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Oh,
awesome.
well.
It was awesome, actually.
Yep. Really good.
Well, it's 7. There's no one here really, except for us. It's 7 o'clock. Shall we start our meeting?
Yes. Before they
I meant
find
that.
us.
I meant that in the kindest way possible, honestly. Okay. So let's see. I'm gonna change my screen slightly here. Shall we review the agenda?
Yep.
I have we need to add the EMPG grant.
Okay. All right. So we'll do that towards the end unless anyone objects and wants to do it first or earlier on.
That's fine.
That's fine. Okay. So I guess we're going to open it for public comment. Rita or April, did you have anything you wanted to add before we do that? No? Okay.
No.
Okay. I'm hearing no public comment.
You never know.
I know, right? Who would have thought? Okay. Let's see. Our first item up is the Halloween discussion.
Okay, so
we have our event on Saturday, correct?
Yep. And the last day to get candy to the library is Thursday afternoon. They're gonna bag up all the candy. 4 people and 2 teams of 2 in 2 rooms in town hall are going to bag the candy, but they might be able to do it together in the same room because of the ERV, the energy recirculating air thing. It was installed today.
Oh, great.
That's the biggest news of the meeting. We can almost adjourn.
Yeah, that's great.
That's awesome.
It's installed today. So
is it quiet, Becky?
oh no, it's noisy.
No? Really?
Huh. Yeah.
So is it kind of a hum or?
It's more of a
roar?
how about I walk down there and you guys tell me.
Yeah. I'd be
Okay.
interested. I mean, just because,
You
you
can
know,
do
when
that later.
we,
Agenda.
when we go back, you know, to having in-person meetings, you know, it'll be interesting to see if that's really makes it difficult for people to hear.
Yep.
There's a
So,
lot of background noise. Like I always have a hard time with you know, a lot of background noise.
yeah,
Probably
I was
my age.
thinking, I'll walk down there. Do you want me to do it when we get to
Whatever. Yeah.
the other part? Since there's hardly anything on this agenda. The
Sure.
ERP update. I'll do it then.
Great.
And
Okay.
you guys can
That sounds good.
hear it.
We'll wait. But it's doing what it's supposed to do. It's
Yes.
just, okay, good.
So the Halloween event has been advertised. The police, oh, I don't know if the police are helping. Fire department is helping. So Marianne, basically nothing has changed since Marianne outlined it. Except for the fact that they're bagging up the bags of candy here at town hall.
Uh-huh.
And they were gonna do it in the shed if we didn't have the unit in, so. So they're good.
Good. Good.
And does anyone know if they're having trick or treat in Orange?
Not heard.
Hmm.
Why orange? Why you curious about orange?
Because I think I saw a lot of signs about trick or treating.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because, you know, because our Board of Health nixed it.
Right.
Yeah, I heard on the radio, NPR had a piece on Shelburne, or the local NPR on Shelburne, and how the select board is trying to not allow it, but the question of how would you enforce it?
Right.
You know,
Right.
arresting the ghost. It's just
Round up those 5-year-olds and
yeah. You can't get candy.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, the kids need their candy.
Yeah, they do. They need something normal.
Yeah. And somebody said just leaving it outside, I don't know, in separate little bags or somehow, I don't know. But no need to.
This is more fun. They're all together. The parents get to watch the parade. You know, it's great.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it'll be okay. It's at least something. It's not canceling it
Right.
and everybody staying at home. You know,
Right.
that just feels cruel, actually, to the little kids, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You know, these adults, what are they thinking?
Yeah. Yeah, because they need something normal.
They do. With my nephews, the remote learning has become somewhat normal now that they've been doing it for so long. I mean, for a few months, for a couple months now.
That's
So.
good to hear.
Yeah, my sister's not enjoying first grade though.
She wants to move on to second, huh?
I think she just wants to be done homeschooling. She's like,
Yeah.
I now know what that feels like. I would never choose it for myself.
Right.
Mm-mm.
You know,
That's hard.
No.
yeah. But at least this Halloween celebration gives them at least something somewhat normal to be able to, you know, do.
And see their
Yeah, and look,
friends.
Mhm.
you're gonna be in Minnesota and Minneapolis for Thanksgiving? I mean,
For
are they trick or
Halloween,
treating?
yeah. We're leaving here early Sunday morning and then we'll be home Monday night.
Mm. Oh, that's right. You're driving.
Yeah, we're driving.
Hey.
How-
No, I would like to go to the parade.
Yeah, I would have gone. Just to
Yeah.
see
Yeah, I
what
think
was-
I think I'll sneak down. It's actually my aunt and uncle's 50th wedding anniversary too.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's neat.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. So yeah, I think I'll sneak down. Remind me what time it is, because I don't think I have the right time on my
5:30 to 7.
Okay.
Didn't they have 2 shifts? They were doing the younger kids first, or is that?
Well,
I thought I read that somewhere that they were going to
it
have.
is 5:30 to 7. So
Yeah. Okay.
I think they're gonna do maybe younger kids first, and
Right. And then
yeah,
tell the
they're
older
trying
kids
to
to come.
keep the crowds down. So there's
Right. I
they're
think you
trying
had
to stay at
provided
their
it.
fun at one time.
Yep.
But it'll be dark at 5:30.
Yeah. Are there lights around that track?
The fire department's bringing lights.
Oh, great.
No, the kids have to have flashlights, just like when they walk in Shutesbury Street.
Right.
Could we jump out and scare them?
Oh, God. You do that, April.
With their big bad, scary select board costume on. Oh my goodness.
Oh,
That would
Just
be
a thought.
classic.
Would be.
Oh my goodness.
oh my goodness.
Okay, so Halloween hasn't changed too much. That's all I
Okay.
have there.
Okay. And what about our Concom appointment?
The Concom appointment is someone who you got to know during the planning board process. It's Mary David.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
wonderful, wonderful.
She's been attending. Yes, Linda?
Oh, I just want to remind you to accept Russ's,
Yeah, we gotta do that.
Thank you.
Resignation.
sorry.
So
sorry
why
to-
don't we do that first? Do I hear a motion to accept Russ Missoula's resignation from the Concom?
Don't
So-
move.
And I'll second.
All in favor?
Carol, I.
And I,
Make peace O'Neill, aye. Okay, and go
And he-
ahead, Becky, I cut you off.
That's okay. I was just gonna say he will be missed. It's he did a lot to try to make the Concom get through a really tough period when they had very few volunteers, and he worked hard. But luckily now the volunteers are everywhere.
It's great.
And so Mary David has been attending Concom meetings since the summer. And I think everyone, did you all get to see her at least on tape?
yes,
Yes.
yes.
Good. So I think she'll be a wonderful addition to the Concom. And Penny's intent is to resign after the December meeting, the December Conservation Commission meeting. So that's a big change ahead.
Yeah. Very big.
Yeah. And a lot happening. It's going to be a very interesting time.
But one interesting thing, when I was trying to figure out if we were moving ahead with the appointment, I called Linda and she wasn't sure. I called Penny, she wasn't home. I called Tessa and she was on top of it. So
Oh,
the
great.
transition, the handoff is very, it's happening. Linda's
Mhm.
been shepherding her and teaching her, and she's grabbing a hold. It's really
Great.
wonderful to have
Really
us
great.
on board.
That's a relief.
So
Good.
do you want a motion to appoint?
Please, go ahead.
Is it Mary David?
Yes.
I move that we appoint Mary David to the Conservation Commission.
And I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Farrell, I.
Stein, I.
Make peace O'Neill, aye. Yay, we just did another one. On
Yeah.
to the status of reopening plans.
Okay. That's where Town Hall, as you know, we've stayed closed at Town Hall. And there are some people who consistently ask, when is Town Hall gonna reopen? I just want you all to be aware, I think some of you are, that Irving's Town Hall closed down. They had to move their elections to the fire station, and their town administrator, town clerk, treasurer, and administrative assistant all had to quarantine last Friday.
So they closed down because
COVID.
because COVID. So there was one of the staff people was positive.
Yep. And our superintendent, Jennifer Colkine, has been sick with COVID.
Oh, no.
Oh, I hope she's okay.
Gosh.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
geez.
haven't gotten an update on that, but she's been sick.
Were they
so
working remotely out of the superintendent's office, or were they?
I know the last time I talked to Bruce a couple of weeks ago, he stopped in, maybe 3 weeks ago. Were just starting, I think 1 day or 2 days a week, they were working back in the office. So they had been working 100% remotely, then they went to part-time remote,
Mhm.
and now she's sick.
Wow, that's terrible.
Yep. So I feel like staying the course that we're on, as especially with the room,
Mhm.
with the ERV unit in downstairs, we can clean before the elections and then open for elections and feel good about it with the air exchange rate. The air exchange machine has been put in at the library. Marianne just gave me a tour tonight. She is just, because she had it all like rearranged because she had to bag and box, bag up all these things. She's been, keeping the public satisfied. So she had like assembly lines everywhere. So she's, reassembled the library. It's starting to look like the library again.
That's nice.
And it's exciting. And they got all the carpets cleaned. They've gone through all the, books, and they've dusted and then cleaned all the floors. And so they will open to appointment only. She has 2 appointments for Saturday and none for tomorrow, but they will be opening for the first time. I think there's 2 people at a time in the library.
Mhm.
So it's by appointment only. So she's very nervous about it right now with things that have been happening in other areas. But at this point, she's moving ahead. If something hits closer to home, she might backtrack. But
So I had a question about reopening the town hall and sort of where the pressure might be coming from to reopen. I mean, it seems my observation has been that I think we get a lot more participation with Zoom meetings than we
Mhm.
typically do with in-person, because it's so easy to, people don't have to get in their car. They don't have to drive up to town hall. I mean, it's not ideal. It would be much nicer to be in the same room as you guys, but in terms of public participation, I see it being far more kind of equitable.
Mhm.
And but I am interested to hear, Becky, if there are people who are calling or writing and saying,
just like 3 or 4 people. Nancy Dillman,
Hmm.
she's, and I'm not sure
why?
why. She's a recycling committee member.
Uh-huh.
But I think they're holding their first meeting on Zoom. So I'm not sure why.
Yeah.
And the other is a member of the assessors board, asks every meeting, and maybe it's because he enjoyed,
Yeah.
getting out of the house and coming to the meeting.
Yep.
And then Mo Gregoire, the electrician,
Uh-huh.
he's always asking. He lives in Leverett, and Leverett did reopen, but they have, the way they're stratified. Well, they're kind of like us. All their offices are on the top floor.
Mhm.
So people, they can meet with people downstairs easily in a big room. And their police department isn't in the building.
Right.
They have their own building. So they don't have as many people there all the time as we do. So, and Irving reopened just about a month ago, I think, or 6 weeks ago. So you just don't know. You just don't know. And we're still doing trash bags outside. And again, we'll be able to utilize the downstairs better once with the air circulator in. So, you want to go see it?
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Take us on a tour.
All right.
Well, it's also, just to note that the number of cases in Massachusetts are starting to spike up.
Yeah.
They've gone to 200 a day, and now they're over 1,000.
Right.
1,100.
1,100. It's a concern.
Yeah,
And-
and given it's flu season and the winter, and it just, doesn't, unless there was some really compelling reason to open up the town hall, I can't see taking that risk. I mean,
Yeah.
it just doesn't make any sense, so.
And now with the more availability of the space downstairs.
Right, in the
some of
case
the-
that somebody had to come in, right?
Yeah,
You could always meet, I assume you could meet them down there.
is that, wow, look, okay.
Melissa, are you in the conference room?
Yes. So Chris has been doing a conference sort of thing with for the last month and a half or so, and every now and then it converges at the same time as select board. And the last time I sat on the floor in the spare bedroom, it wasn't really conducive, and there's a lot of noise that comes. And I don't know if you guys could hear it, but it was very distracting. So I
Yeah.
said to Becky, I said, do you mind if I sneak and use a little bit of the table so that Chris can have my laptop and do what he needs to do?
Oh,
I can do what I need to do.
uh-huh.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
It's like I was looking at that room thinking, how efficient, you have a calendar.
I love to say I'm not efficient at home. No.
She recreated that room in her house so she could feel like she was at town hall.
It's sad.
I have to admit, it is nice doing something outside the house.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know, so
So, yeah, I guess you didn't see it very, could you see it at all?
no,
No,
it's pretty
it
dark.
froze.
Okay.
go
I'm
slowly
gonna-
so it can catch up. So your picture
I'm
catches
gonna
up.
peek in and see if you can see it from the doorway. Mine never froze up. It was weird. Are you?
Just
you're
move
not-
Oh,
slowly.
yeah.
Just move slowly. Okay, you're good. Okay, well,
Like
that
This
is
is what we're gonna
really-
do to the kids.
Okay, turn.
oh
Oh,
my
wow.
God, look at that
Wow.
thing.
It's an
You know,
octopus.
it's still smaller than the one that was there.
I think it's bigger.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Bigger.
I think it's probably, it's shorter but taller.
We should come up with a name for it.
And really
then-
shiny.
Yeah,
It looks like it's climbing a rock wall. or
Yeah, it does. It
something.
looks like a space, like it's in space. You know how
Yes.
the astronauts are in the space capsule?
Yes.
They're climbing the walls. That's what it
Cool.
looks like.
it looks like a space monster.
Yeah, it does.
It does.
Yeah, we should come up with a name for it. It's now become a thing.
It's a thing. It's our new thing. That's thing one.
Big one.
Can you hear it?
No.
I can't really hear anything.
That's
So
good.
that's good. The microphone's not picking it up.
Yeah. That's a good sign because here.
I think you
Yeah,
could probably go in.
Hopefully it's a wide enough noise. It won't cause too much. But yep, that's our new beast.
Okay.
It's beautiful.
There you go.
Yep, just what we always wanted.
And Becky, that's circulating the air in the entire downstairs?
Yeah, both rooms. It
Okay.
has see these round things in the wall?
Mhm.
There's one here. Oh, you can even see the air. Wow, the air's really moving. Can you see it? There are spider webs that are going, woo!
Oh, that's funny.
And there's another one down here where it's
Okay.
blowing in and then it sucks it back that way for
Oh.
this one.
Okay.
And then we have the dehumidifier working at the same time. This place is going to be. Yeah,
Well, you
and
won't have any moisture down there, just
Yeah.
suck it out.
That will be nice.
it'll be like a desert down here.
Mm-hmm.
I think they call it a popcorn fart. Dry as a popcorn fart. Sorry.
I've never heard that expression before.
Great, we
Yeah.
are recording.
Nor have I. No.
Thanks for the reminder, Linda.
I know we're being taped, but it
That's right. We should show we have fun.
so that's the new big deal around here.
Great.
Yeah, and I think it's gonna, it might be a little noisy, but I think it's gonna make a difference
Mhm,
in the environment, which will be wonderful.
mhm.
Yeah.
Good.
Hopefully it'll keep us safe.
And that's all CARES Act funded, right?
Yep. Yes, it is.
Well, here's a thought, Becky. Can you get one for up here or tie up here down into that one?
I'm not sure with all the
Okay.
divided space.
Yeah, true. It would be difficult.
I'll talk to Jason and see
Yeah.
what he
We'll
thinks.
just see. I mean, these places do have windows that are probably a little bit easier to open, and I don't know. Anyway, just a thought. Because up here has the same similar mold issues that downstairs does. So, or more, less so maybe than downstairs, but
Yeah,
you know, air circulation be important.
air circulation would be good, but we haven't had the mold up here,
No,
except the black mold in the hall.
right, except your office.
Yeah, except for that. But that was definitely a leak
Mhm.
that I think has really, really stopped. So that's a good thing. And who knows, it could have been adding to the problem downstairs too.
It could have been. Yeah.
Um, I can tell you about the elections a little bit.
Mhm.
Well, we are technically on town administrator updates,
Oh, good. Perfect.
right? Because are we still talking about reopening? Is there any more questions? That No. Okay. So let's move on to town administrator updates and then that election one you just mentioned.
Okay, so the election was set up in the garage, the police garage outside, and not too fancy. A lot of cones trying to fill in and alert people where all the holes are in the floor. And but they've been getting people every day, not a lot of people, except Friday was huge. I think there were like 45, 50 people on Friday, but other days, maybe today it was closer to like 5 or 10. But it's, you know, the town clerks and the election folks have already collected 900 ballots.
Whoa, that's
Whoa.
incredible.
Wait a minute, how many people vote in this town?
13-ish.
Is it 1,300?
It's, I think the number of registered voters used to be 1,300. The list, the last printed out list is about 1,500, but it's not called, they haven't been able to call out a lot of the people that have been moving out,
Mhm.
and they're getting all the people moving in. So maybe around 1,400 now, because Grace was saying she said, and I don't know if this is, I don't know how she calculated, 25% were new voters. But I'm not.
Well, they may not have, maybe they hadn't voted before, right? There could be town residents that maybe, were inactive and just chose not to vote prior to this.
Right. And then
Right.
you had the sale of 30 or 40 homes, so you could have 80 new people.
Mhm.
Or more if they have anyone over 18, right? In their
Right.
house.
Right. Good point. So it's they'll figure, yeah, we'll know next Tuesday what the real number is. But that's
Extraordinary.
more than usual, and I think a lot of people are gonna still vote.
Well, if I just did the quick calculation, you said 25%, right? That's 225. If you have 80 new people in town,
Mhm.
that's possible. That's quite possible.
Sure.
For some reason, people who normally haven't voted decided to vote this year.
Mhm.
Yep. So it's big numbers. So they've been very, very busy. And so that's a good thing that they're got a lot of volunteers. So, they're having to turn away volunteers. But it's good. It's really good. And then we have, so after the election, we have, oh, I just blanked out. I'm sorry. Finance Committee met last Tuesday. And Kevin presented the program to them. And it was an interesting response with a lot of questions. That meeting did have public input. And not everybody, well, one of the comments was not sure why we would have such a program. But other than that, it seems that people are appreciate that we could have a program in place to help people, the elderly in town. So that generally has been well received. And Kevin has now, I think he's almost finished the warrant article. So all the things he promised to get done for you guys in December, he's already done.
Oh, my goodness.
That's great.
He's enthusiastic.
Yeah, he's really excited about the whole program. And he's been working through the recap with Gail, our accountant. We don't have numbers for you yet, but it seems to be on track to do better than what we had projected for the values way back in April. So the value should be even higher with personal property added to it. So the tax rate is it's gonna be interesting. It should be around 22 or 23 at a minimum and might be lower.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Well, it was already going down to 23 with the use of
Right.
free cash. And so it's going down perhaps another $1 based on the revaluation, or
It
maybe
might,
we don't know.
But our property values go up. I mean,
Right.
it's that balance.
Right.
Yeah.
it drops property values up. But we have to wait for the final, and we'll have that at the next meeting.
Great.
And then you all agreed to hold the classification hearing on the 17th. So that'll be an extra meeting. And my question for you is, the Finance Committee in their calendar had scheduled a meeting with the Select Board, possibly on the 10th.
November 10th.
November 10th, which would be the Select Board's next meeting.
Mhm.
And the last year, they were seeing this on the calendar from last year. And last year it was to prepare for the Four-Town meeting.
Right.
There's no Four-Town meeting scheduled at this point. So we're not going to be able to do that.
Okay.
The other thing they were hoping to review is a forecasting model. But the forecasting model is based on having the recap done. And the recap won't be done to the 17th. And so I'm not sure if it makes sense for the Select Board to schedule, to have this meeting at this time with the Finance Committee, or hold off a couple weeks or a few weeks, or if you just want to touch base with them generally, or if you want to just hold off.
Seems premature to be meeting with them at this point if we don't have everything.
Because last year we were really focusing on the assessment method and getting on the same page. And that, I don't know, is there going to be a Four-Town meeting at all this year?
Right.
I mean, I hope so. I mean, we still need to communicate.
And hopefully there will.
I'm sorry. Did you see the article quoting the superintendent in Amherst talking about enrollment numbers having dropped so dramatically, and it's going to affect Chapter 70? I mean, that the student population, it seems like, once we have a little bit more information about that, even if we don't have a Four-Town meeting, that we would want to engage with the region about what they're looking at for next year's budget, because it's real serious financial.
Should we reach out to to Amherst, the superintendent, about having a meeting at some point?
I can do that.
It's worrisome. are these drops in population and student enrollment, is that temporary? Are people pulling kids out for now? I would imagine that they are.
Yep. And I
Yeah.
know I think I reported to you the principal was talking about our numbers potentially are lower here. There's, at least a dozen kids that are being homeschooled and not staying with the program. But I don't know where those numbers have settled out. So I should probably find out that too. But she was,
So what-
I'm sorry.
I wonder if it's the ripple effect from the UMass not having all their students back, the graduate students are the ones who usually have children in the school system.
Yep, there's children there too that are missing.
They were also saying, Melissa, that a lot of kids got sent to private schools. So I think there were
Yeah.
parents probably send them to parochial schools because they were opening, or if they could afford to send them to a private school and have their kids,
Right. If they were working, right, and they couldn't spend the time at home with them remotely. Yeah, no, that's a good point.
Yeah. But I think in general, the enrollment numbers, I don't think it just seemed like from that article, which didn't go into a whole lot of detail, but that they were concerned longer term, that it was
Okay.
not just a blip for
A
this
blip on the, okay.
year. Yeah, that perhaps this was a longer term trend.
Deeper thing. Okay.
Well, and Leverett, we're getting choice students from Leverett because of the principal situation there. So I don't know how their numbers are. I should talk to Margie about that.
This year we're getting,
Yes, this year, because in the end of the year, there was a vote of no confidence with their principal, and then she left in July, not having planned at all
Oh, boy.
for the year.
Yeah.
So they've really had to scramble. And as a consequence, what I heard was a number of people, a number of families choice into Shutesbury.
Hmm.
But again, I don't know where numbers are shifting out, and but I'll try to find out.
And of the 30 or 40 new households, how many kids does that include in our little town?
right.
I mean, our bubble could be increasing too once we're back to something resembling normal.
Yeah, because Kay's family was 4 kids, so
Yeah.
so it's some young couples and then young children and grown children. So it's I don't know, but it's something we need to get a handle on. And the aid numbers are supposed to be final to we're moving ahead. I think all the recaps, people are doing them counting on the aid figures being what they said they would be. But that's not, like they said, I don't know if that's all going to change if a third of our student body isn't there and our enrollment numbers are really down.
Right.
So you were saying November 17th is when we should have?
The reclassification hearing to set
Yeah.
the tax rate, and I'm just not certain that's going to happen on the schedule. Kevin thinks it is.
Okay.
If they can't finalize the recap, if they can't finalize the aid figures per individual town.
So Melissa, do we delay the finance committee then until that's?
Yeah, I think probably, because like you said, a little bit immature to bring them in early and not have, a lot to talk about.
Mhm.
Not that we don't want to see them and have them at our meeting.
Right.
But if we're not going to have anything to really talk about with them, but afterward, when we do, I think it's a good idea to have them all, yeah. I think it's okay to delay. If you guys feel that's okay.
I do.
Yeah.
I think that's fine for now.
Yeah.
But as was suggested, I think starting those discussions with the school folks to at least get a sense of what
Yeah.
numbers are looking like
Okay.
would be really
And-
great to have done in early December.
Mhm.
Maybe our first December meeting, maybe? If they have information, of course, right?
Yeah,
So,
and
yeah.
then I'll try to put together a school committee, select board, and finance committee meeting.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think that makes sense.
Okay. All right.
I was talking about meetings. I was just gonna bring up the calendar real quick to see if there's any that fall on a holiday in the next month and a half. That we need to think about, doing on a different night. The
Yeah.
10th, the 20th, the 10th and 24th, or sorry, 10th and 24th, right? And then 8th and 22nd. 22nd falls during the couple days before the Christmas holiday. Anyway, something to think about, maybe.
Okay.
This is the time of year we would be planning an all boards meeting as well. And
Yeah.
I'm not sure if this is a good format for that.
Maybe it's not. Maybe I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah, there'd be about what, 40 people, 30, 40
Very good.
people.
Maybe 50, maybe more people would come.
Right.
Right?
We'd have the whole audience.
That's right.
We'd have 100.
Oh my.
That's a good question too.
Because it has been helpful, I think, and useful for other, to have committees there to be able to meet each other and share what the goals are for the next year or so.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure this format would be good for that.
No, because usually we sit in a circle or around a square table, right? Square, and we share. Then we usually have the social thing. It's a good question. Do we want to change it up and do all chairs instead? It does narrow the group down, but then not everyone gets to participate the way and listen. Or maybe just the chairs of the committee speaking, and whoever wants to come can come, right?
And you can mute them.
Might do that.
I think if you just ask for one spokesperson from each group, maybe we should give it a shot. And
Yeah,
And
they
do
can
that.
be muted after 2 minutes. They'll be allotted 2 minutes and then they're muted.
And then we'll need our timer.
And when would we do that? Would we do that as an additional meeting in December?
Because normally it would be about this time of year.
Yeah, I remember usually there was cider, right? Because it was that time of the year.
yeah,
So we could do it in November. Like the November 17th meeting, is that?
well,
Yes, if
see,
That's the classification hearing, although I think it did wrap around that last year. To be quite honest, I think it did. We did that first and then we went into the all board meeting. I think the two collided then.
Yeah.
actually because the finance committee has a regular meeting, they're supposed to meet with the highway department on the 17th.
Mhm.
For budget review. But the 10th, what about the 10th? I guess, is it too short term to expect people to be able to speak on the 10th?
Oh, if they haven't had a meeting, it might be a little weird if they haven't had a meeting before that meeting, and then you're asking the chairs to speak and.
So
Yeah.
why don't we do it at our first meeting, or maybe we let it be our first meeting in December on the 8th. That gives a full month for people to meet.
Yeah.
And
I think it's December 1st would be our first meeting. No, the 8th. That's right. No, the 8th.
I think you're right. Yes, the first. I'm sorry.
It is the first? Now,
Actually,
Yeah,
I'm
so
not
the
sure.
17th
now you switch.
No, we have the 17th as a classification special meeting,
Right.
Right.
right? Our
Correct.
next one is on the 10th, and then the 24th,
And
the
8.
8th and 22nd. If we go by every other week.
Yeah, so it would be the 8th. No, you were right, select board.
Linda would like to say something.
Yes.
Linda, go ahead, you can speak.
I would like to add that on November 24th, you'll be having your annual meeting with the Shutesbury Athletic Club to renew their licenses. So that'll be on the 24th, and on the 8th will be your annual meeting with
Clark's.
Clark for Clark Auto Wrecking's annual license. So that's usually brief, but the athletic club could
That could be
take
complicated.
longer this year. I don't know, I've sent out all of their materials and I haven't heard anything back yet from Jen Donnelly. I'll be checking in with her, a little bit further into November, but they do have to have all their documents completed and signed in the month of November. That's the ABCC requirement. So anyway, that's the scoop. We have that scheduled on the 24th. If there's some reason they have to have all their things signed, but by the 30th, but if they're delayed, you'll have to see them on the 8th.
Okay.
Okay, just in terms of scheduling things.
Okay.
So it looks like things are filling up. And I guess the question is whether to do the all boards meeting right now or not.
Well, here's a thought. What about if we push it off to January? Yes, no, I'm just kind of tossing it out there because I'm looking at the calendar.
We even did it the 22nd.
Of December?
Would you likely get anyone on the week of Christmas?
No, I
think
wouldn't.
we could do this, yeah. Well, what is the purpose of the all boards meeting? Is
Well,
it
that's what I
simply-
was gonna say.
Yeah, is it simply for all the boards to say this is what's going on, or do we as a select board use it to kind of set the stage for the budget and kind of what our expectations are? So I just don't recall from past all
It's
boards.
I think they've all been kind of a little bit of that. Like the last couple were definitely the checking in and them telling us what they've been up to and kind of an update. Then we had the social hour. Those have kind of been the last two, but others that I've have kind of set the stage with a budget sort of thing or thoughts of where we should go, or
Yeah.
So I guess it could be anything that we wanted it to be.
And maybe we need to think about what that is. I mean, given sort of all of the uncertainties in some way, I think it might be good to have a structured all boards meeting. If we could do it in December, to do it just to.
This is normal.
Yeah, some normalcy. It's going to be post-election. It's going to be, this is going to be another challenging, as they always are, budget meeting, finance, town finances. So I think the sooner, we're talking to each other, especially, with the finance committee and other town departments. I don't know. I think it would be a good thing. I think it has to be defined well, but I think there's some reasons for doing it.
Do we want to try to shoot for the 8th and see if we can pull it off then? Yeah.
Just remember, you could have the SAC and Clark both
Yeah.
on.
Or do we want to pick, rather than, do we want to, as the select board, do we want to have, oops, hold on, I got to open up my calendar again.
Like a special meeting?
Well, I was thinking the 8th, maybe the week of the 15th of December, that next week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be fine.
Either the Tuesday, the 15th, just to be traditional in the day of the week. And just solely have it as the all boards,
Yeah.
unless there's something emergency we have to handle, but. Because how does that sound to everybody?
That sounds
sounds good to
fine.
me.
Okay. And then what kind of time do we want? Do we want to do it early enough, or are we concerned about people working and dinner and such like that?
Yeah, because our select board meetings used to be at 6:30. wonder if we made this at 6, if
6.
that would be reasonable. It's not, people are not generally commuting, I'm assuming.
Maybe we do it at 6:30 and just say 6:30 to 8, have a discreet and really say that we would limit it to the board chairs.
Speaking,
does-
okay.
No,
No?
no, I really object.
You object to, you think it should be open to like 50 people? Talking?
Yeah, because what generally happens is the most interested people show up. And
Right.
and then you ask one person to represent for a committee. So not everybody that's there is going to speak at that point, but they're going to listen.
Mhm.
I
And
just think, I'd rather not do it than have 50 people. It's just going to be unmanageable.
Well, I think so I've sat in a few now at Amherst where there's been about 300 people, and it's worked out okay with that many people even. I think it could work out okay. I think if we were calling on if we had a list of boards and we kind of went through and those, kind of at least kept it structured to start with, the boards could speak and then keep going through and check them off so we caught everybody. I think it would be okay.
I also think having time limits is a way of just, that will naturally,
Yeah.
because before we did that, certain people would go on and on and on and on and on.
Right.
How many boards, how many different boards do we have reporting?
Oh my God.
We
Start at
tend
the
to have
top.
about
30?
15, I think, but only about 15 actually report, 15 to 20.
I think it could work out okay.
Well, you have
Or
to,
it'll be complete chaos, one of the two. I
But
mean, in my head, I'm thinking if we went through and, like I said, checklist, called on each board to speak, and just reminded them 2 minutes. And
yeah.
after 2
What are
minutes,
their
we're muted. That's it.
What are their priorities?
Yeah.
It's also, I think it's a sort of a nod towards normal,
Okay.
because we've all been we haven't seen each other,
Right.
and you don't run into each other in town hall. So I think 6:30 to 8, that's a good time frame. And then people can bring their own cider and donuts or whatever they want to imbibe in at that point. We can have a kegger.
And then it may be in the invitation that's sent out, we just remind them we're gonna, because of technology time limit, and we'll have to limit the comments to 2 to 3 minutes per board. And then think about, like you said, priorities and projects, and then maybe answering the question on, how are you guys you've been functioning during COVID, because that's kind of what we're all trying to do. So,
Okay.
or maybe that can be question and answer at the end. I don't know. Anyway.
And Melissa, you would moderate then? Is that kind of how?
I would attempt it. Yes.
You've got it.
I would attempt it.
Okay.
Although we would need a timer.
Yes.
Well, I guess I can have the timer going too, because
Or maybe
like
I could
Elaine
take
did.
over, because that's been Elaine's job. She's been the timer. I could take that over with a little less violence.
So,
Yeah, but now we have a mute button, so you don't have to talk
just
over
mute
people.
people.
so
You're done.
I could see the time limits working, provided we have we're very clear about what we're expecting them to do in that 2-minute period. So please be prepared to,
address your priorities, but I also think we want people, are there any budgetary issues that are percolating?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Like, are we going to need a fire truck?
I don't think that's,
No, that's not gonna happen.
no, but I mean, just to, yeah, that's not the conversation. I think it's
No.
talking about priorities, projects that people have been able to continue doing despite COVID. The impact COVID is having on your department. There are some committees that have not met at all. Well, at least there's one. I
Which
think,
I was going to mention tonight.
yeah, recycling has, is meeting, but they hadn't met yet, I think. No, they did meet because they put together their whole big show to distribute the bags. So they met way back then. Yeah, and how are there ways, do committees need additional support to be able to meet that they don't have now? If they haven't figured out how to meet. And if they haven't been meeting, why not? Why haven't they met?
Mhm.
Yeah, I think those are all good questions to add in. This is what we're looking for, answers to these questions.
Okay.
And, if the finance committee or you, Becky, are ready to give just a kind of overview of this budget year, of this upcoming year, I think that would really be helpful, kind of what the finance committee is sort of seeing. For example, we used that $200,000 to reduce the tax rate, $200,000 in free cash, which mean in this next year, we expect that will not happen again. So things like that, kind of the bigger, we think state aid is going to stay the same, that's what it's been sounding like, but what other budgetary pressures are there?
Right.
And things might, we're gonna, this is the 15th, right? December.
Yeah.
Yes.
By then, we should have information that we don't have now.
Mhm.
What the
Good.
things are going in from the state. Okay.
All right. Is there
Okay.
any other update? I'm sorry. Was there any other updates, Becky?
I was just gonna thank Rita for being flexible.
Thank you, Rita.
I don't want to do it, but Melissa's going to run it. So just the only other thing, Becky, on the FERCog, so that contract all got signed for the school
Yeah.
roof. But the building committee has not met, correct? Since
No, I didn't really reach out to them. I'm just moving ahead. Because Bob hasn't scheduled a meeting at
And how
all. I did tell them what Bob was on the finance committee and I told him what I was doing. And, I think they're supportive of doing that. So, actually, what he did say was different and had more to do with what we were talking about a year ago. Trying to get around, so anyway, at this point, I guess I should talk to them about when they're going to meet next. And then we can talk about what their role would be in this process. But I don't think the whole review of the contract and working with them I don't know how we should play this out.
I just think we should
Yeah.
address it sooner rather than later. And if it's the select board that should do that rather than you
Mhm.
on your own, I think that would make some sense to ask the building committee to come because
That's
longer range, we are going to have to address town buildings. And I know this has been discussed before and the select board has done work on this and other people have. But I know it's kind of one of the things that I kind of had on my list as a new select board member is to kind of re-energize that sort of longer term look at all town properties. And kind of what, and I know we have lots of information, but we need a building committee
Right.
that's active in order to revisit that.
True,
I
very
agree.
true.
I agree. You know, I don't know what the charge of that committee is. I'm sure it's written somewhere, but I echo what you're saying, Rita, that clearly we're going to need some help with from a building committee. And maybe it's time for the membership to reevaluate their belonging or not.
Well, I think the issue is not so much on the membership. I mean, they've called, I know Steve has reached out to Bob a few times and asked about different things. So I need to talk to Bob and have him explain why he's not meeting. You know,
Or
'cause-
have them explain to the select board why they're not meeting.
okay,
Right.
yeah.
Maybe
if
that
he-
makes,
if he doesn't just say, oh, you know, with COVID, we just, we haven't been able to work as a group. So I'll just explain to him how to set up a meeting. He clearly knows how. He's been to many Zoom meetings. So I think everybody on its committee has internet access. So there really is, and Nancy's shown up at different events and been active, and so has Steve. And they're, 2 out of the 4 members. So I'll try to get Bob to post a meeting and get back on the stick.
And meeting right now is easier when, like, we had explained before, you can do it right from home.
Yeah.
It is much easier. So
Becky,
and
would it be easier if
Okay.
it was something that it was a request from the select board?
that's, yeah.
Good. I play good cop, and you guys can be bad cop if you.
Yeah, because I think you get enough of the bad
Why
cop
don't you,
here.
why don't you try? We're asking you to try.
Is
Then
that
if
the-
and if not,
And we have talked to them before, and maybe sort of circle back, what are their plans? What are they thinking about the long term and the short term with our buildings?
Okay.
And we had asked them years ago, hadn't we, to do sort of an assessment of what needs to be done where? And I don't think we ever saw that.
No, it never transpired.
Mhm.
There was a really good start made when Andrew Webster was on the committee, and he had a lot of structure to his analysis, and he helped me get a lot of work done. And then when you made your request, he started an inventory, and but then the town shortly after that, so never finished.
We'll have to go get them back.
Does he still live in town?
No,
No.
he left town way back when.
No.
Yeah, that's tough when our families break up.
Hmm.
But anyway.
Yep.
If we can find somebody with similar skills, and he worked for an architect and was much more on the data-driven side, and our building committee is much more hands-on,
Mhm.
and so it would be good to get a mix. If we can, I know Andrew kept trying to get a friend of his who was an architect to join, and that didn't happen. So if we can get back to that perspective and find somebody, I think that could help broaden out the workload and match the expectation of the select board with what the building committee is doing. That would be helpful.
Okay. We're the bad cops. Okay.
Yeah. we can summon
That's right. You go for it, Melissa.
summon to the principal, select board's office.
You look like you are in the
You
principal's
look like
office
you
there.
are.
I know, a little bit, huh? Last time I had a chalkboard this close, It's hard not to draw on it, I have to admit. So do you want to try to get them on our next select board meeting, or just see how your conversation goes first, Becky?
I hope to have them scheduling a meeting in a couple weeks. And if I don't, then I'll come back to you guys.
Check
Okay.
in with us and we'll add them to our select board meeting.
Okay.
Is there any other updates that we need to know about for this meeting?
And just that Gail Weiss is on vacation for for 1 week, and then she'll be out upon her return, going through the COVID routine. And hopefully that all works smoothly, and she'll be back in about 2 weeks. And other than that, everything's going pretty well. We've had some injuries that people have gotten over and worked through, which is great.
Oh, that's good.
And so the staff is in good shape.
Good. Everybody's feeling well otherwise,
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And the new policy kicked in. Poor Tessa had a cold but was unsure about what it was. So I said, well, just see if you feel better over the weekend. And if it's easy for you to get a test, that might be the easiest thing to do. And she did get a test, and it was negative, and she was back in the office this week after her test.
Can I just ask a quick question? We are going to get tested when we come back, and I have no idea, like, where do you go?
Holyoke Community College does it for free. They have a drive-in still there, I believe. And then also, if you I went to Med Express.
Huh?
They took my insurance, but I had to pay a copay of $35.
Okay.
Oh,
So-
that's not so bad.
It
To be honest, it's not so bad.
Easier. It's more convenient. Okay, good. Thank you.
It depends how desperate you are.
Well,
Yep.
because we're supposed to be quarantining for 14 days when we return, and we'll have been traveling through
Yeah.
Midwest.
Multiple places.
Yeah, I just want to get tested. on
Yeah.
Tuesday.
And I don't know the timing for Holyoke Community College, but I think if you go to
I'll
the
look it up.
state website,
Okay,
they have it there.
yeah. Medics seems pretty convenient, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And they've died down. Medics parking lot had been jam full of college students for a while, but it's easing up again.
I can attest to that. I drove by it yesterday and there was only a couple of cars there.
It's good.
So does this leave us with just accepting the minutes from October 15th?
I think it does.
EMPG.
And then
Oh,
you-
EMPG grant.
Yes.
Thank you, Linda. I turned my page. I was already moving on. I wrote it down. Do we need to know anything for the EMPG grant before we meet with Walter for our emergency management meeting?
Well, I don't know he did send an email back. I don't know, this does not list the items here and what he gave us. Nope, the items aren't listed here, but it's the basic contract. So we can ask him to give us the list of items. This is just the $2,700 grant, pro forma, the signatory page and the regular state contract. And it's in that late packet you got at about 6 o'clock tonight.
Yeah, he does really well utilizing that grant, I have to say.
Yeah. Yeah, they just, the problem with the grant is they need more storage space all the time.
No, I know. Yeah. Maybe we should build them a shed.
No.
Actually, you know what? No, they'd want a waterproof storage container. So,
Oh my goodness. So this, the Board of Health is in the shed. And it's, oh my goodness. Rita, Michael did such an amazing job.
Yeah, he tightened that little thing right up.
Oh man, he lined the whole inside. He redid the floor and the ceiling and just buttoned it all up. And Tim said, it was a little big for the forklift.
A little heavy. Yeah.
And it almost went, he said, if Michael hadn't done all that work, it probably would have just split all.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
But he did. Michael did. He saved the shed, and it's
My marriage almost got ruined by that, by my volunteering him, but I said, come
That's how
on.
it happened.
I do feel
too
that,
old
Rita.
for
I have moments like that myself when I'll say to Chris, hey, I just volunteered you for something.
Yeah. Anyway, when it was all said and done, we made up.
He went with you. He's there with you.
Yeah. And he drove the whole way, so.
Wow.
Oh, man. He
That's-
didn't know this is what he was signing on for, huh?
No.
He's a first dude. He's got to do,
That's right. That's right. Comes with the territory.
that's right.
It does. It's a family position. It's not just,
That's right. It's a family affair.
I appreciate it. It's and the other piece is the check came from the Board of Health
Oh, yay.
good.
and is deposited into the recycling account directly, so you don't have to go back to the.
Great. So that they can get their other shed.
Mhm.
Great.
At some point now, did I tell you all that the manufacturer of the shed had run out of materials? There's a shortage in the materials to build the shed. So Meryl's still trying to be patient.
Who's going to try to take that Board of Health shed back?
Dear
Now
God.
that it's light and pretty.
Ah. So, and then the last thing, did you guys see my email wondering if you guys were wanting to do any painting of the shed?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
I'm always up for painting.
I'll do painting.
Yeah.
I don't know if Rita's certified to paint, and I'm certainly not clear if I'm certified to
Terrible
paint.
painter, but a shed, that's easy. I just cannot paint anything in our house. It's like the way I cook. It's everywhere.
Oh, no. Yeah, I'm the, out of the two of us, I'm the painter, although Chris is very good. But slow and very methodical. But, it's like, honey, we have a wall.
Just do
Let's
it.
get moving on that thing.
Yeah.
I'm
weather has
happy to
to
paint.
be- but it has to be relatively warm, right?
Yeah, and so I'm hoping the week after this week is supposed to warm up a little bit.
Oh,
After
okay.
it's now on Friday. And I'll talk to Chris about again about getting more shed paint. But we want
Did
to
you want
get,
to go with the paint stain so it goes in and
yes,
yeah. Okay.
that's the
Right.
kind we want to get. And is he familiar with that kind of stain? Or
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
I
what's
don't
on
have-
our house. And our house was painted in 1992 and hasn't had anything done to it.
Wow.
So,
It
and it's
looks
the same, it's the same rough hewn boards that are on the shed.
Right. Great.
So,
Okay, so I'll talk to Chris again about getting the paint and then talk to you guys soon. And I think Elaine,
do we have a color restriction? Probably. Or can we?
Board of
Go
Health just is
wild.
sticky. They're happy with if you get something that'll help keep,
Okay.
It's not an issue for them.
Okay, so it could be just a neutral color or whatever.
Yep. I'll double check with Jackie, but I don't think Jackie could even find the shed. We hit it pretty good. It's away behind 3 other sheds.
Oh, the shed.
The shed village.
Safety in numbers.
The shed subdivision behind the elementary.
Yep.
Okay, we're on it.
Okay, great. Thank you very
Okay.
much. That's all I have.
Okay,
Okay, shall we approve the minutes from, the date was,
October 15th.
thank you. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes for October 15th?
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
All right, any corrections or edits?
I thought it was
Linda?
extraordinary how you were able to encapsulate that conversation
Thank you.
in that meeting.
It
That
was a
tough.
challenge to do, I'm sure, Linda and Becky, but
Sure it
thank you for
was.
making the minutes so nice. It's good. Thank you. That's hard work. All in favor?
Farrell, I.
Stein, aye.
Make peace, O'Neill, aye.
All right.
Okay. Awesome. We're done.
Done. So I can come by tomorrow and sign warrants. I'm pretty free.
I also would like you to know that in Melissa's box is a folder with a number of thank you notes. I finally had
Okay.
a chance to catch up on them, and so they're there for each of you to sign when you have.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm not around. I assume you're not going to hold stuff up because I'm not.
No.
Okay.
We should-
2 signatures work.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So I can come by sometime late morning tomorrow. Not too early.
There's no collision issues because Melissa's here now.
Yep. So
All
I'm
right.
gonna sign them before I go.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And then I'll show up tomorrow.
Okay.
Because the accountant was, the warrant was ready last night, so Melissa has it all to sign and it'll be ready in the morning.
Yeah,
Perfect.
so they'll be all set. So whenever you get, take your time, sleep in.
My- I have been. I've been sleeping till 7. That's
Whoa.
weird.
Yeah.
I've never done that before.
Well, after this weekend, that will be 6. So, right?
That's right.
Change the clock.
Very much.
We don't want one more hour of 2020.
No.
Let's not set it back. Let's not set it back.
No.
Turn it forward.
No, I think we're all kind of done with 2020.
Yeah.
Yep,
We can just skip the next couple of months. I think we'll all be okay
we'll be fine. We're gonna be fine.
for the year. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. I'm gonna-
Okay. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So
moved.
moved. So,
Okay,
and I'll
all in
second.
Okay. All in favor?
Farrell, I.
Stein, aye.
Make peace, O'Neill. Aye. Thank you, ladies, for coming.
Great. Thank you.
Yes,
Bye,
nice.
everybody.
Thank you. Have a good one. Have safe
Have a good
travels.
evening.
Thanks.
Yes.
Thank you. Yes.
Good night.
Night.
I'll see you, Miss Melissa, in a minute.
Okay.
I have one more thing for you to sign.
Okay.
Good night, Linda.
Good night.
And,
Tomorrow. Bye. Bye, Melissa.
Can't lift my end.